because Shruti maybe don't know. Yesterday already we have decided that we are going to start with the first chapter. That is what? Conservation of plants and animals. Is it yes or no? Conservation of?
Yes, sir.
Conservation
Plants
of
and animals.
plants and animals.
Plants and animals.
Not our first chapter. So now we will start with that. Later we will go for what is animal cell and what is plant cell, which you are going to study now, which we are studying now. They are present in our school. So now let us come with the conservation of plants and animals. As yesterday I have already taught you so many things regarding conservation. Yes or no, Johan? Shruti, you don't know. Let it be. No issues. Understand? So in yesterday, I have taught you what is conservation, what is the importance of conservation, why we should do conservation. That is all like generally we have discussed in the last class. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So let us come to here. What is the meaning of here? Conservation. First we should know. We know plants and as well as we know what is animals. We know or not don't know? Is there anybody who don't know what is plants and animals? You people know what is plants and what is animals. Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So, what is the meaning of conservation? That is what the first thing. That is what the first thing which we need to observe. So, what is the meaning of conservation? What do you know about? Shruti, can you able to say what is the meaning of this conservation? Conservation means what? What is the meaning of this
I
conservation?
don't know.
You don't know really? Oh,
Sir?
you really don't know what is conservation. Can you heard a word called as conserve electricity? Conserve electricity is generating electricity, conserve food, conserve water, like that. Have you heard a word at least?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is it? What do you mean? What do you understand conservation? You may explain in Tamil also if you don't know. Can you understand what is the meaning of conservation? Suppose you see geography and history, so many places used to word called as conservation of forest, conservation of ecosystem, like that. Is it have you heard a word?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, same meaning here also. Yeah, Chaitanya, what is the meaning of conservation? What do you understand? What do you mean by conservation?
Saving.
Huh?
Saving, sir.
Let us comes to here. Conservation means, remember, it means that the process of keeping and protecting something, understanding, process of keeping and protecting something from damage. That is the meaning of conservation. From where? From the damage, we should understanding process of keeping and protecting something. That is only called as conservation. All of you should write conservation. The process of what does it mean, Ra? The process of
Keeping and protecting something.
process of keeping and very important sentence formation and grammar error. That is what you should learn. The process of keeping and protecting. Do you know protecting spelling? Protecting what? Keeping and protecting something from damage. Understanding? Something, protecting something. It may be something. It may be water, it may be air, it may be food, it may be cloth, it may be plant, it may be animal, it may be book, it may be phone, whatever it is. Something. Understand? Something. From where? From?
Damage.
Something from damage. So that is only called as conservation. Do you understand, everybody? Conservation means something which we have to conserve, understanding, we have to protect them, we have to keep it for a long period of time, next generation, which is going to damage, which is going to destroy. That is what we are going to call as conservation. Now, here, then why we are using this conservation for this chapter, sir? Because conservation of plants and animals is the biggest problem for us now, because of our selfishness, because of our greediness, because of our needy, we people are killing the plants, we people are killing the animals. Now that is why we are in a situation that we are using the word called as conservation of plants and animals, because understand, the conservation of plants and animals means we have already destroyed more plants and more animals. Now they are in a situation that almost going to damage. So that is why the plants and animals which occur in the forest should be kept in a way that they remain protected in the natural environment in which they are found. That is what the conservation of plants and animals. We have to be protected. They must be remains protected. That is the meaning of conservation of plants and animals. They should be protected. Understanding all the plants and animals. Conservation means you understand it now. Conservation of plants and animals means they must be protected. They must be protected. Do you understand, Igra? They must be protected in where?
Yes, sir.
Understanding in natural environment where they used to be found. So that is what we used to call as conservation of plants and animals. Understand, which they are found there, we have to remain protected always. That is what we should call as conservation of plants and animals. Now, before we'll go further and discuss what is this conservation of plants and animals, we should know the meaning of few terms. Understanding, we should know the meaning of few terms which is related to the geography only. It is not related to the science. It is related to the even both geography also. If you want to understand this conservation of plants and animals, first we should know the meaning of biosphere. Can anybody say what is the meaning of biosphere, please?
Land, sir.
What is the meaning of biosphere? We should know the new terms. This
Land.
is the new terms you should write. So the new terms you should, before going to enter into this chapter, we should know the meaning of biosphere. Can you say what is the meaning of biosphere?
Sir?
Yeah.
Land,
Sir,
sir.
the 5 main things of the world
Biosphere.
environment is
Environment, that is atmospheric layers. Yeah. What is biosphere?
Where we live, sir.
Biosphere. You used to heard this word in so many. Biosphere. B-I-O-S-P-H-E-R-E, biosphere. So I will explain it. Let it be. So we used to study the words like biosphere, wildlife. Do you heard the word called as wildlife? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Wild.
sir.
Yeah. What is the meaning of wildlife at least? Shruti? Wildlife. Have you heard a word called as biodiversity? Diversity. Have you heard or not?
Yes, sir. Diversity.
Heard, sir, but I
Biodiversity.
don't know the meaning of
Yes. Biodiversity. Yes or no? Ecosystem.
Yes.
Have you heard a word called as ecosystem? So okay. So let us discuss this. So these are the main words which we are going to study in this chapter. Everybody must remember. So these are the keywords which we are going to enter into the chapter. We must know the meaning of this one. So let us come to the biosphere. What is the meaning of biosphere means? Somebody is sending message. Johan. Okay. So biosphere means is the part of the earth in which a living organisms exist or which supports life. That is only called as biosphere. Can you able to say which part of the earth can support life? Anybody? Biosphere means what is that? Which support life. What is that? Shruti?
Sir?
Which support life means the place which will support for life. Support life is only called as biosphere. So what is the places you are observing? Where is it possible to live the organisms? What is the place? Can you able to say on the, suppose if we'll take.
forest.
Yeah, forest. Forest, so many animals are living. First example, our earth itself, we are living on our earth. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that this biosphere means where these living organisms can exist, where they can survive is only called as biosphere, which includes the land surface of the earth, atmosphere of the earth, as well as the water bodies. So what is the water bodies are you seeing? What is the water
Sir,
bodies?
fish.
Sir,
Understanding.
lakes, ocean.
Ponds, rivers, everywhere some kind of organisms are living. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Is it
Yes,
yes?
sir.
So, biosphere means, observe all of you, biosphere means wherever the organisms are living, as well as you know that some organisms are living on the land surface of the earth. For example, we are living on where? Land surface.
Land.
Is it yes or no? Land surface
Yes, sir.
of earth. So this is only called as understanding biosphere, as well as atmosphere, surroundings. Our surroundings also in atmosphere, so many germs, so many bacteria, fungus and all living, so that it is also called as biosphere. Is it yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They are not. So atmosphere, as well as inside the earth, soil is also biosphere only, because so many organisms are living. As well as if we take all the water bodies, like understanding lake, river. Tell me what is the water bodies, you know? Sea, ocean,
Pond.
understanding, and pond, etc. Everywhere, this all some kind of living organisms are present. So that is only called as biosphere. What we should call? What we should call?
Biosphere.
So biosphere means, Ruti, you should not say I don't know, sir. Biosphere means what we should say confidently, which supports life, means in the sense of understanding in which living organisms exist, in which, that is the perfect definition, in which
Living organism.
living organisms, living organisms exist is only called as biosphere. Do you understand, all of you? Yes or no?
Understood,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Understood, sir.
Biosphere, this land surface of earth, atmosphere, understanding, which is present on our earth, as well as the water bodies on the earth like rivers, ponds, lakes, oceans, everything is called as biosphere, because living organisms are found in land, soil, atmosphere, as well as all the water bodies. So that is why it is called as biosphere. So if we take, for example, the animals living in the natural environment like forest. So that is why, understand, for example, in forest is also called as, is it yes or no? Is it called as a biosphere or not? If it is
Biosphere. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Because of wild animals.
because forest, so forest, some
Forest. Trees also there.
we are not living in forest. If you'll observe, forest is also one part of biosphere. In forest, so many animals, understanding, so many animals are living. So the animals which are living in this forest is only we used to call as, what we should call, wildlife. What we should call?
Wildlife.
Means the animals which are living in natural environment, not the houses, not the zoo, not the park. If it is living in park, if it is living in zoo, it is not called as natural environment. Natural environment means which is made from the nature. Do you remember? Which is made from the nature. Suppose forest is called as natural environment or not?
Yes,
Natural
It's a nature environment, sir.
So forest we can call it as natural environment. Why it is called as
Sir, because of trees, sir. They are naturally grown.
natural environment? Why, Shruti? Chaitanya? Why we should call it as natural environment?
Sir,
Why we should call it as natural environment?
has grown naturally, sir.
Because it has been not, I have not developed the forest, or you have not
Naturally.
It is not human made, sir.
normally by the environment. So that is why it is called as natural environment. Understand? So that animals, those who are living in the mountains, those who are living in the thick forest, or like somewhere, wherever it is natural environment, that animals is called as wild animal. So these animals is not domesticated by man. That is what you should remember. So the animals which are not domesticated by human, that is called as wildlife. What we should call? The animals also
Wild.
another definition, which is not domesticated. What is the meaning of domesticated? Anybody? Means
Sir, it's not hunted by the humans,
is
sir.
not domesticated by man, is only called as, what we should call, wildlife. Wildlife. Do you understand, Johan? Chaitanya? No. So, if you'll understand here, the examples of wildlife, if you'll observe, we have so many things. Suppose the plants growing in the natural environment on their own, we are not growing. Suppose the plants growing on your garden, is it called as a wild plants? Is it we are called as a wild plants?
No, sir.
No, we
No,
should
sir.
not call it as a wild plant. So the plants which are growing naturally by in atmosphere without human help is only called as wild plants. Same way, the animals which will not domesticated by man is called as wildlife animals. What we should call? Wildlife.
Wildlife.
This is wild
Animal.
plant and that is wild animals. Remember, whatever it is, what is the meaning of domesticated? Can anybody? Which is not being kept in our home.
Sir, grown as a pet.
Yeah.
Not grown as a pet.
By human, not caring. Suppose if you take dog, dog is a domestic animal. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Domestic.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because it will grow in our presence. Is it yes or no? In our presence. That is why it is not called as wild animal. It is called as domestic animal. So the animals or plants, whatever it is, which will grow by themselves, they are only called as wild plants. And as well as understanding the animals which will grow their own, that is called as wild animals. So the both we can call it as wild plants and wild animals. We used to call a term called as what? Wildlife. What we should call? Wild. So
Wildlife.
which is naturally grow. Remember, which will naturally grow in the atmosphere is only called as naturally grow. Naturally grow in atmosphere is called as wildlife. Suppose if it comes to the animals, which will develop wild animals, we should call wild animals, which will grow again by naturally grow in atmosphere. So if it comes to the plants, we can use a word called, we should not use word called as
Wild plants.
plants, we should call it as what? Suppose you are growing the plants, what we should use a word called as? We have
Domesticated.
domesticated. What we should use? What we should
Parent.
grown or cultivated. Have you remembered? Grown or cultivated. Plants will cultivate. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So wild plants means which are not cultivated. Not cultivated. Understanding? Cultivated are
By the humans.
grown by man is only called as wild plants. But coming to the wild animals, not domesticated, not
Domesticated.
domesticated,
Domesticated by the humans.
domesticated are grown by man is only called as wild animals. So this both together we can call it as what? Both together we can
Wildlife.
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 combine. If you combine understanding wild plants plus wild animal.
Life.
Wild animals means maybe somewhere non-veg animals, somewhere veg animals, means in the sense of maybe they are carnivorous, maybe they are omnivorous, doesn't matter. Whatever it will grow in forest, everything is called as wild animal. So this wild plants plus wild animals, which we used to call together, is known as what?
Wildlife.
Any doubt, anybody? This is only called as wildlife. Now, somebody will ask me, I should not say this definition. I have to make it some proper definition. Is it yes or no? Is it yes or no? Even, have you noticed it? Is it only wild animals and wild plants will come? Is it under wild birds? Birds also will come or not? Birds also, wild birds will be present or not? Yes? Yeah, but if they will fly, we used to call it as birds. So that is why they are also will come under animals only. So also we can include one more thing that is called as what it is? Wild birds. Wild birds. So what is the meaning of, what is the proper statement of this wildlife means? If we take animals or plants or birds, doesn't matter, which are found naturally in the forest and other natural habitats are called as Wildlife. All of you should remember. Wildlife means, everybody must note it down. Do you have notes? Are you maintaining the notes?
Yes, sir.
Are you maintaining?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me, Shruti, what happened? You can speak directly. No need to raise your hand. It is not your class. You can directly speak. You have only 3
Sir,
people. Huh?
okay, sir.
Yeah, tell me. What?
Humans will come under which, sir?
Humans are not. We are always. Are you the wild animal? Suppose you are also animal only. I am also animal only. But you are taking. You are under your mother and father. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
You are not grown naturally. Correct. That people are feeding you. That people are providing everything, so that you are not come under nature, wild animal. Okay. But tribals. Do you know tribals? Those who are living without, like a
Yes, sir.
million years before.
Forest.
Yeah, forest man. So that people we can call them as a wild animal, because they used to eat the raw meat, raw vegetables, directly everything. They don't have anybody to protect them or save them, and nobody will monitor them. That people are called as wild animals only. Is it okay?
Okay.
So that is what. Now, wildlife, you should write the definition. Wildlife, meaning you should write. So what is the meaning of wildlife, Rao? All the animals and plants. What is that? All the, you should write properly, definition. All the plants and animals, including birds also. Is it you understanding, Ra? Plants and bracket you can keep understanding, and birds you can write it, no issues, because birds usually we won't take because less in count, so that, but you should must know it. So all the plants and animals, understanding, which are found naturally, which are found naturally. Chaitanya, do you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Naturally in forest and other habitat. Not only forest, if it is ocean, if it is river, if it is canal, if it is some other thing, wherever it is naturally. So all the natural habitats also we used to call as wildlife one. In forest and other habitats. Do you understand, Ra?
Yes, sir.
So what is the meaning of habitat? Forest is also one of the habitat. Like that, ocean is one of the habitat. River is one of the habitat. Different kind of atmosphere, location, that is called as habitat. So this is called as, what we should call, wildlife. Do you understand, Shruti?
Yes, sir.
So now, two
Yes,
terms
sir.
of understanding. What is biosphere and what is wildlife? What is the next term called as? What is
Biodiversity, sir.
Huh?
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity, or it is combination of two words, bio plus diversity. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Biosphere.
sir.
About the biodiversity. First, coming to the diversity. What is the meaning of diversity? Please tell me. So the next term which we are going to study is diversity. So what is the meaning of diversity? Suppose today your mother may prepare different varieties of lunch. Maybe fish, maybe chicken, maybe mutton, maybe prawns, maybe some other thing, maybe vegetables, maybe kira. Kira means leaf. Is it yes or no? Yes. Curd, rasam, some fry, something. This is all we used to call as different varieties. Is it yes or no? Different varieties of food. Yes or no? Solapa? Yes. The same thing, diversity also means a variety. What is the meaning of diversity? Diversity means
Variety.
What is the spelling of variety? V-A-R-I-E-T-Y. So variety. So diversity means variety. So now, but it is not our word. Our word is called as what? Biodiversity. What is that?
Biodiversity.
So,
Sir, it comes under living things and non-living.
yeah, no, not non-living things. I will say, wait, yeah. So if it comes to here, biodiversity means biological variety. What is that? Biodiversity means variety. Biodiversity means biological Biological variety is only called as biodiversity, a simple definition. So what is this biological variety? What does it mean, sir? That is what our question. Is it yes or no now? What is this biological variety? Understand? So let us discuss this first. What is this means? Remember, biodiversity refers to the variety of organisms. That's all. Nothing is there. Variety of organisms. Because if you take, so for example, you see, I will take a forest. It is a particular area or a particular habitat. Is it yes or no? If we take, for example, what is biodiversity means? Let me take forest. Do you understand, Shruti? Naveen, Chaitanya? So let us take the forest now. So forest is the one type of area, particular area, or I can call it as a particular habitat. Is it yes or no? Particular habitat. Is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
So now, what kind of things you used to find in forest? Can you able to say? What
The
kind?
plants.
There are wild animals
We used to
and
find
wild plants.
We used to find animals. Is it yes or no? Now, we used to find the different kind of birds. We used to find different kind of. Suppose if the animals will die, somebody will eat. We used to call it as what? Microorganisms. What we should call?
Microorganisms.
Microorganisms,
Micro-
or we can call it as different decomposers. So microorganisms and so many grass plants, big plants, different kind of plants, different kind of animals, carnivorous, herbivorous, understanding like that. Different kind of microorganisms are present. Microorganisms are present. Is it yes or no? Yes or no? Tell
Yes,
me.
sir.
Like that. Suppose if you take a lake, let me take, for example, forest you are not understanding. Let me take lake. So lake, what kind of things you used to find? Can you find plants? Some plants, water plants.
Water living plants.
Yeah. Aqua plants. We can call it as aqua plants. Aqua plants. Understanding? Aqua plants. Next, aqua animals. Aqua animals. Next, some microorganisms. Is it yes or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, microorganisms, and
Organic.
some birds also will present inside the water. Is it yes or no? Some birds, birds like what we can say. What is the bird? I forgot its name. Some birds also will existed. Is it yes or no? Yes.
Ducks.
Ducks, for example, you can take duck. Understanding some wild birds and all is existent in water. So this is only called as. Suppose if you go to the and even snakes also present. Some snakes is present. Is it yes or no? Snakes I forgot. Snakes, frogs, frogs, fish. Understanding fish like that. Suppose if you go to the ocean, what can find? Chaitanya. Shruti, can you able to say if you go to the ocean or sea?
There are aqua plants.
Huh? If you
There are
go,
aqua plants.
if you go, you can find aqua life. Is it yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Every
Yeah, aqua life.
fishes.
So aqua life, life in the sense of maybe plants and maybe animals. And the next one we can find what? Fish. Next we can find what? Blue whales. You find blue whales or not?
Yes, sir. Sharks.
Tortoise.
Sharks.
Tortoise. Understanding? Next we can find frogs. Big frogs is present. Next the snakes. Even
Octopus.
poisonous snakes are present. Like that, so many things we used to present. Understanding in the oceans. Is it yes or no? Like that. Have you noticed it? If you take oceans, different kind of plants, different kind of animals, different kind of birds are present. Like that, lake, everything different. Like that, forest, everything. So this is only called as different varieties of animals and birds are present and plants are present. Is it yes or no? Yes or no? That is only called as biodiversity. What we should call? What we should call? Biodiversity. A large number of species in a particular area is called biodiversity. What we should call? What we should call?
Since humans are living in land, that means it is
The
biodiversity,
presence
sir.
of, you can write here, the presence of a large number of presence of large number of Large number of species in a particular area. Large number of species. Species means what, Shruti? What is the meaning of species? What is the meaning of species? Species means plants, animals, birds, etc. etc. Large number of species in particular area. In particular area. Particular, C-U-L-R, particular area or habitat. Habitat is called what we should call biodiversity. What we should call
Biodiversity.
diversity. Do you understand really? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
examples. I have taught you 3 examples. You can write forest, you can write lake, you can write ocean, you can write some other thing also. So this biodiversity denotes always, you remember, richness of species. Richness means not having money. What is the meaning of richness, Ra? Huh?
Varieties of
Number of varieties. More number of varieties is present, then we can say biodiversity is very rich. Understanding in that particular area. What does it meaning of rich? Means if you are finding a more number of varieties in a particular area, then I can say that particular area is understanding richness of biodiversity, or else I can say richness of species. So that is only called as biodiversity. So always biodiversity denotes the richness of a species. Note it down. It will denotes always. Sorry, it will denotes what it will denotes, Ra? Richness. Richness means what? Different varieties of, more number of varieties of, richness of, understanding, Ra? Johan? Richness
Yes,
of
sir.
species in a particular area. Richness of species.
in a particular area.
Species in a particular area. Particular area, or we can call it as habitat. What is it called? Habitat. So this richness is most important. If more number of varieties, understanding more, we can say that it is a very good biodiversity. If diversity of living organisms are decreasing, then we can say biodiversity is going to destroy or spoil. So that is why you can see, because of the cell towers and all, sparrows and all nowadays going to expire. They are now going to extend. Have you noticed it? We are not able to see the number of sparrows and eagles and as well as crows and all like before. Is it true or not?
Yes, sir.
Because of our activities. So means biodiversity is going to understanding affect. That is what we should call as biodiversity. So the biodiversity will say that how healthy the atmosphere is, how different varieties of animals and plants and animals are present. That is only we should call as richness of species. More and more are present. Very good. If you have more money, you used to call it as rich. If you don't have money, we used to call it as poor. Is it yes or no? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Same thing belongs to the biodiversity also. I hope you understand very well. Have you noted down? I will send the notes also.
Okay, sir.
I will give these notes also. Nothing will happen. But you have to understand. You should not say, I should not, I don't know, sir. So till now we have studied 3 words. Chaitanya, can you able to say that 3 words? We have studied what?
Yes, sir. Biosphere, wildlife, and biodiversity, sir.
What we have studied? Biosphere,
Biosphere, wildlife,
Life and biodiversity. sir.
biodiversity. So biodiversity means what is the simple meaning? Simple meaning of biodiversity.
It
Biological
will denote richness of the species
Biological
in a particular area or habitat.
is called as biodiversity. Now coming to the last one, ecosystem. What is this? Last one called as
Ecosystem.
ecosystem. This is the word which we used to use so many times in geography. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is the meaning of ecosystem? Let us see. Who will say? What is the meaning of ecosystem?
Sir, the voice echoing, like coming back to us.
Hey, that echo is different. That is physics, Ray. Purely physics.
The surroundings, sir. Surroundings.
Yes. Ecosystem means our physical environment, means in the sense of our soil, our air, our water, our living organism,
Sir, geographic environment.
plants, animals, microorganisms, our soil, air, water, whatever, wherever we are living. Understanding? This is system, is an ecosystem, is a system. Suppose if we take our laptop, contains a screen, contains keyboard, contains motherboard, contains some other thing, LAN wire, everything. So that is only called as system. All the points, all the parts of it will join together, that is called as system or laptop. Like same way, ecosystem means which includes all the living organisms, plants, animals, microorganisms of an area and the physical environment in which they live. Means living plus non-living thing of a surroundings is only called as ecosystem. Do you understand, Ra? Shruti, are you understanding? Ecosystem means if we'll take all the living things. What is the living things if it comes to there? All the living organisms. Living organisms. Understand? Organisms, which includes what? Plants, animals, understanding? Microorganisms. Understanding? Etc. And also plus where they are living, our physical condition. What is that physical condition called as? Also the physical environment. And physical environment. What is the meaning of physical environment?
Sir, our daily.
Huh? Physical environment means what? It is a non-living thing. What are you seeing in our non-living thing? Our soil, air, water. This is only called as our physical environment. Do you understand, Ra?